Good afternoon. Welcome back to Marty's Tying Bench. Our Vice Squad pattern for this session is Landon Mayer's Mini Leech. We just passed the first day of fall, and my attention, I'm anxiously awaiting the still waters to turn back on, so a small leech is a good thing to have this time of year. And if you've seen Landon Mayer holding all those big fish on the magazine covers, that should make you interested in having the same patterns he uses. Now this is a size 14, it's a small hook, a scud hook. This is a Dairiki 135. I'm going to start my thread right behind the eye and move back towards the middle. What's covered with thread now is where the leather is going to get tied in and the ostrich head is going to be wrapped. But first we're going to coat the body with a crystal flash. Now I'm using Mirage accent in Opal. You can use any color you believe goes with your Leech color. And the Leech color in this case is olive, but you can tie it of course in black, claret, brown, purple. Now I'm going to flatten that thread with just a little bit of a spin so that this crystal flash lays flat and I don't build up too much bulk. I want to get down the bend a little bit, and I like to make one turn right behind everything. That kind of helps my first wrap not slide down. My first wrap of crystal flash won't slide down the hook, down the bend of the hook. I've come back up to where I started. Now you're going to want to stroke that crystal flash just a little bit, or accent flash, so that it's flat. You make snug turns, again, so this crystal flash sits on the thread and doesn't slide back. Barely overlapping. Until I get to that starting point. Looks good on my side. How's it look on yours? Yep, nice and even. The body is a pine squirrel. It's got that light, nice modeling to it. This is a sculpin olive, and it's the micro cut. This is 1/16 of an inch. Now to tie that in, if I just tie it in on the hair, it'll be slick. So I want to peel just a little bit of hair out. Now if I tie it in on that squared end, I'll have kind of a lump or a step to deal with. So I'm going to take a moment. I don't need to cut it to a point. I just want to take the edges off. Now with my thumbnail, I'm going to actually hold that in place so I can make a couple of loose wraps before I go tight. Now you see that drop off there? That's going to make it difficult for your ostrich, so I'm going to fill that in just a little bit. See how much smoother that is? I want my leech to be about 1 inch long, so I'm going to tease this back until I got about 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to cut the leather there. Let's see how I did. Yep, pretty much right at 1 inch. The head on this thing is ostrich. I got a nice plush black ostrich plume. Now to keep this from, if you twist this, it'll bind down its own fiber, so I like to use a rotating hackle pliers. But you can do it by hand, you can do it with regular pliers. You just like to be somewhat careful with your wraps so that they all stand out straight. And to help that, I'll stroke them back out of the way in between in between wraps. Now, rather than trim that, I'm just going to release the hackle pliers and stroke everything back with my fingers. If I need to, I'll dampen them with a little saliva. It'll give you a nice, clean, open eye. Now, with my whip finisher, I'm going to actually shape the head a little bit so I can make a good half a dozen turns. If you're using uni thread, you might want to keep it down to 3 or 4 turns and do it twice. So there we go. Landon Mayer's Mini Leech.